Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your home host, Jeremy Alexander, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, and trade it. What is up, my friends and family? Dan doing the Ice Cube Challenge. Thanks for being here. Chuck, what's up? Rockstar, Zach. Thanks for the free week, Jeremy. My pleasure. You're super welcome. Thank you for being here. My goal is to teach you and help you as much as I possibly can. And this week's going to be a great week. So I will be here as normal. This exact week, I'm going to have my schedule that I do with real life trading every single week, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 5 to 6 Eastern, 4 to 5 Central, where I will review the overall markets and help you understand what I'm seeing, what you're seeing, how we can make some gains. Elvis wants the recordings of all this. Yep, just come on our YouTube channel, Elvis. Make sure you be subscribed to it and you will get all the recordings. So let's go talk about the broader markets. SPY. The big question, of course, everyone has is, will we roll over? And the only answer that I have is, if we're going to, this is where we need to. That's really it. That's all I got. If we will, this is where it has to happen. It needs to happen pretty soon. Otherwise, we're just at a really good level. We could easily continue higher. We just got this trend line and the 200 simple that we did close above nicely today. So my take is going to be one of two things needs to occur. We can get a little bit of a pullback over the next 2 or 3 days, but it'll be a buyable event on the broader markets. I will be going long on some things. I will have a few short trades as well. But if and only if we get a really, really nasty candle the next 2 to 3 days is when I would be like, all right, that was fun while it lasted. Let's go back to just being only bearish. But unless that occurs, I'm just probably going to be looking for some bull trades because we did get some decent closes on a lot of different stocks at this stage. And we don't really have any weird fundamental knowledge or news to my awareness anytime in the next few days or weeks. So SPY with a pretty good close, Qs with a pretty good close. I think the Qs is going to hit the 200 any day. Was a fantastic gap. And so pretty strong gap out of there. Who can tell me what candlestick pattern this creates? That candlestick pattern right there is a morning star reversal. And it's a pretty strong one too. On a 1 to 10, I would give that one like an 8.832, I think. So relatively decent from the morning star reversals that I've seen. And that's why I do think we could probably just slowly grind a little bit higher. Most of our swing trades that we did set up last week in the swing trading room, specifically on Friday and on Wednesday, most of them are bullish, and we will go through the bearish one that we exited early today. Here's the SPY that we just looked at. And again, we'll see what we do with the upper shadow. The IWM, right? Beautiful bounce off of the 200. So again, as most of you know this year, my main focus for real life trading is double tops and double bottoms, along with the moon phase. So those are going to be my three kind of main focuses. This is a double bottom. And we did break above the 200. We came into that resistance. We pulled back and then we bounced. Now, again, as I mentioned, if we're going to form a double top, it needs to happen like tomorrow. Some selling needs to come in, which is always possible. But based on the volume, based on the close, and the fact that how beautifully we retested that 200, I'm a little bit more bullish right now. And on the weekly chart, you have a higher low. So this is, again, the IWM. We're above the 200. We got this little resistance here. So if we can break through this resistance with some decent news of some kind, or maybe some decent earnings, then it should be okay. Maud says, is the moon phase an expression or literally the moon phase? Literally. Yep. Literally. So pretty wild. It's in TradingView. Feel free to practice with it if you want to. It is it's kind of interesting. Matt says the Fed's going to start talking a little bit early part of February. Yes, that is true. February 1st. So I think we got a little bit until then. All right, cool. So that's the IWM. That's the broader markets. Here are some stocks that I got from the chat and request lines, and I'll take your list for tomorrow in probably about 50 minutes or so. I'm going to start with the stock that we exited for a profit, bearish today. And this was on Archer Daniels Midland Company. I'll explain why we exited bearish on ADM today. Number one answer is we were profitable. So there was that. Number two, the market was pretty strong today, and this was a bear trade. Number three, we were also at a potential turning point, which is if I just hide all these lines, the 50 EMA on a weekly. So that's this big green line. I'll hide the other ones here for just a moment, but type in a 6 if you can see how that's acted as a decent little guiding benchmark on the stock for a bit. Yeah, so we can see. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but there's some levels. So we were here, we were bearish, we were profitable, we already made some gains. It's like, all right, let's just, exit for a small win. Here was the exact setup. So I'll go back in time so you can see what I saw when I saw it. Really, really, really strong bear candle. I went to the daily chart and I said, okay, we just closed below the 200. We have, if I zoom out a little bit, a potential, or at least what looks to me like at the time, head and shoulders pattern. That would be a close below the neckline there, which would make this the retest. So once we close below the 200, shorted a pullback halfway into the bear candle with a stop above the pivot, and that was the setup. And the reason number 4 for exiting a little on the early side is earnings were also this week on Thursday. Chuck says, did you use a screener to find that trade? No. Nope, just used the list that some of you guys threw at me. That's the cool part. I do this every day, man. Look over the markets every single day for an hour. So we find some really, really good moves. And I can use scanners. I love looking for scanners. I love using scanners, but we didn't, to my knowledge, use a scanner for this one. All right, next on the list is Kroger, ticker symbol KR. Talk about a boring stock. Kroger is the blue chip grocer of America. I did drop $400 at Kroger this morning, as I do every 3 days, it seems like. And essentially, we're at a very good long-term spot to potentially accumulate. So old resistance, new support. What I'll do is zoom in here for a moment so you can see the 200 simple is all the way down here at 37. The 100 simple is here at that blue line. So from a long-term, big picture standpoint, this is an okay spot to kind of like stab a little bit. So if you are buying a little bit, some chunks, I think that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, that's it. I would just be tiptoeing in, sprinkling in some money, buying some longer term shares. I don't see anything great with extremely strong edge. If you want to play it bearish, you could play it bearish here at this neckline around 45.50. This looks a little bit double topish, close below the neckline, retest. And again, right there is the 100 simple on a weekly and the 100 simple on the daily. So there's some reasons that you could have some bearishness there that I see. But generally, one of my rules, if you're jotting rules down, here's one of mine. I don't short food companies. And that's not because of a altruistic reason. It's because I've done it a bunch and I've looked back at all my trades and I've never made money doing it. So there you go. All right. CCI, Crown Castle, earnings right around the corner. Let's go to a weekly chart. The reason I'm looking at the weekly is just really to see what this bad boy's been doing. And this is a sizable pullback. Look at this drop. This is essentially the same size as 08. This is huge. 08 was down 80%. And this was down, wow, 40%. Not even close. That's interesting. Some kind of triple top head and shoulders. Wow, we were right at that neckline. Well, here's what's interesting. Based on that analysis, we should go lower. I don't have any position on this one, but it looks a little bit on the bear side. Therefore, if it does not, and if we do have a strong gap up on earnings, specifically an open above 153, this thing's on a rocket ship, and it's going to be a really, really good gap. If it gaps down, I'd probably look to short a retest of some magnitude. This is not going to come out until later this week, so I will put it on the list for Wednesday and Thursday, and we can come back and look at this later that time, and we can see what that gap does. But I'm going to draw essentially here and here. So if it opens below 138, that'll be the most intriguing, and open above 153 will be the most intriguing. Other than that, no trade for now on Crown Castle Inc. Amazon. Type in a 9 if you could have easily found Amazon through a quick little scan of some kind. Bouncing off the 100 simple on a monthly chart. Wow. Amazing. So again, that is simply a great spot. And I did mention this about, I don't know, roughly 455 times as a great spot to accumulate some type of size on Amazon. Doesn't have to be huge. It could be 10 shares, it could be 20 shares, but slowly moving it. Todd, to take my face off your screen, just drag the camera to the left. Everything on Zoom is clickable. Should be really, really easy for you to click, drag, and increase whatever screen you want. It's very easy for my nose to take up too much space on a computer screen. So yeah. Also, here's what's cool. On a monthly chart, this particular candle, what type of candle is this on Amazon? There's a name for this one. One white soldier. Yep. Good job, Ray Humphreys. One white soldier on Amazon. That's a big deal. Also, since it's occurring on a monthly time frame. Now we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days left in the month of January, but that's a strong candle at a strong price on Amazon. Also, just to kind of come full circle, give me 3 seconds. I'll show you all how I kind of played Amazon a little bit the other day. Right here. Amazon at a nice buy spot. So we're going to look at this particular chart for just a moment. Since we're all practicing, we're always here to get better. Type in a 9 if you can see a double bottom there. So there's the double bottom. You also had a bear candle here closing above the 10 EMA. So you have the 10 EMA set up. And then you also had the fact that we were bouncing off of the 100 simple moving average. So my plan at that stage was, as general, get in above that bear candle, right? Get in above the bear setup. So that was back on January 10th. And since then, we've gone up a paltry 10.5%. Chuck says, how soon will the recording be available? So Chuck, this is actually still live presently, so I can't teleport in the future yet. I'll let you know when I do, because we'll be very, very wealthy. So it's going to be about an hour after I finish, which I haven't finished yet because I'm still live. So one day, time travel. I'll be pumped about it. I'll be pumped. Amazon, looking good. Cool to bounce. One white soldier off the monthly. I think we're just going to slowly peel into the 100 simple on a daily chart. I think that's our next stop, which is about 103 on Amazon. So again, if I can back trade it for you all really quick, since we're always learning, always growing, there is your double bottom. There is your bear candle closing above the 10 EMA. Type in a 6 if you see it. Because the entry would have been entry here, and then it depends on your time frame. What's your goal? Short-term cash flow, longer-term investment, day trade, could be all kinds of things. It's really up to you. You get to pick that time frame. If you have a larger time frame, you're probably having a little bit of a larger stop, right? Or using protective puts. But your entry would have certainly been above the high of that candle, which would have triggered the very next day with a close above that price. And then you got a gap above the high of that candle to continue the party for the bulls. So long story short, I do think that Amazon's going to probably just ever so quietly and cutely graze higher into the 100 simple for the next, 3 or 4 days. And tomorrow, a gap above the high of this candle would be nice. So if Amazon was on my day trade list, that's what I will watch for. Broadcom, buy the dip. Man, this thing is so strong. I think I made bear money on this one once during all this sell-off. And we're now comfortably back above the 100. I was back trading this the other day, and I'll show you all, in my opinion, where it started. And I know it's a little bit easier to see now, but even back trading this one, you'll see a phenomenal opportunity. Type a 2 into the chat pane if you can see 2 or 3 clear reasons why you're like, yep, this is when it looks pretty bullish to me. Amanda says, what are you pressing to remove candles? So this is a back trade function, Amanda. I'm clicking this little double icon here in TradingView called the bar replay so that I can go back in time and analyze everything. That's what I spend most of my time doing so that I can become the best in the world at this game. Yeah. All right, I'm getting a lot of 2s. For those who did not type it in, here's the volume, here's the close, and it is closing above this red line, which is the 200 simple moving average. You also had a bullish gap action back over here, bullish gap and go, possible some type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means you're going to have a little bit of a correction, some type of retracement, something like this, and then we continue a smidge higher. Higher highs, higher lows. Let's go forward 2 or 3 days. There's the retracement. So this is most likely or hopefully the spot where you should be or could be buying something, hopefully. And if you played it, I didn't take this trade. Can't be in everything. I'm just here to analyze it. Next few candles come in. Nice little gap up. Again, obviously a bear candle closing above the 10 EMA as well. And then we just, last few days, slowly grinded higher. It's called a nice looking trend and a really good, just solid hang on to your trending stocks. What to do with it now? Just buy a little bit more of a dip. If you're still in, hold, and if you're not in, try to buy it around 540. Texas Instruments. What's Texas Instruments doing? I haven't looked at TXN in a bit. Wow, what a cool bounce. Now, I realized that it had never bounced off of the 200 simple moving average before. So when it came down to this big red line, that was the very, very first time ever. You wouldn't have had any kind of clue or evidence or knowledge or realization or prior information that like, hey, this is a really good moving average to bounce off of if you want to buy some Texas Instrument, dividend paying, blue chip stock. We all use TI-83s. We know how this stuff works. So I get it that there wouldn't have been any real way to know, oh yeah, strong support here, but it did bounce off of that price. And now we're trading into a spot where it's a really good resistance. Prior spot that we have had some selling. So if I had some shares of Texas Instruments, which I do not, I'm not in this position at all, I would get into a collar or covered call. That's it. That's what I would do. Earnings is going to be right around the corner on this one. I think they're tomorrow, in fact. So I'll put this on the list for tomorrow and Wednesday, just to kind of keep an eye on it. Earnings are also here for Tesla this week. So it's going to be a very, very fun week. I would wait to see what happens on Texas Instruments and buy the dip. Yeah, let's see what it does. As long as it does not open below 166 on earnings. If it does that, that's going to be a little on the bearish side. All right. Next on the list is Fabrinet. Ticker symbol FN. Wow. Look at this trend. This stock has just kept going. Good for it. This is amazing. I mean, amazing, amazing move. Looks like it's gapping up into a new all-time high pre-market right now. Not really sure why, but yeah, I guess I'll just continue to stay with the trend on this one. If you're looking for a good semiconductor stock, this will be one. Buy the dip, hold, stay long. Chart looks good, trend looks good. Yates, this will probably be a good one to put on your list at some point. Elvis says that Head and Shoulders looks like the one from a textbook. Yes, that is very, very true. And this inverted Head and Shoulders pattern as well. Boom, and your bullish gap and go just to add the additional mayonnaise to the sandwich. Bill says, where do you see the pre-market info? So Bill, great question. Do you see this blue line right here that says post? Are you able to see that on my screen? That blue line is the post-market price currently, right now, for this particular stock. That's how you can do it. So, and then in the morning, around 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, it'll change to orange, which would be the pre-market. So we are in post-market now. If I said pre-market, I apologize, but I think you all kind of know what I mean. All right, here's JBL, another just, I mean, powerful, powerful, powerful move. Look at this trend. You had the tech bubble high of 67, and we have broken above that off to all-time highs. Really, 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 really strong. So overall trend on this one, also bullish. I don't have a trade set up, don't have a position on it. But if I was looking at getting into one, it'd be bullish. And it'd probably be somewhere back around 70-ish. Amanda says, how does the posted pre-market affect the stock? It's a good question, Amanda. Essentially, it's prices. There's a giant globe out there. People are buying and selling stocks all the time, always. So when you have a lot of people buying and selling a stock after the market's going to close, it's going to move pretty fast when the market opens here in the US. What I would say is pop over to reallifetrading.com. And when you get the chance, click on online courses and then go down to where it says this intermediate trading. I talk all about gaps, pre-market, post-market. It's entirely free. It doesn't cost you anything. I think you'll really get a lot of value out of it. Kristen says, Jeremy, do you use a trailing stop for your ATM strategy, or do you set the trade up to get out at the market exactly at 2.4? Both. I've done a lot of research, Kristen, and really the heart of your question is, what's more profitable, using trailing stops or exiting at targets? And most of my research has concluded that it is better to exit at profits for traders who want to create cash flow monthly and or quarterly, right? Like you're trying to pull out profits. If you don't need the money and you're okay to sit back, relax, and let it do its thing, then sure, trailing absolutely works infinitely better. So it all depends on your goals, what you're trying to accomplish. Because if you're taking notes, feel free to jot this one down, ladies and gentlemen. Cash flow is king. Yeah. Dan says exit at targets rather than trailing stops. Yep, you are correct. And Todd says you can always buy back in, especially for day trading. That is a fact. Strong facts. Wesley says back trade and find out what works best for you. Oh man, my knee hurts. Oh, it's all good. Spray some WD-40 on it. You know how many times my dad has sprayed WD-40 on a certain bone that hurt my body at one point in time? Dang, I hope that's good for you. I never looked it up. But good grief. Type in a 9 if you had no clue that WD-40 was publicly traded to right now. Hey, at least you learned something. This thing's been around for ages. Ages. Good old WD-40. Come on, man. So WD-40 is at the 100 simple on a monthly chart, not including dividends. If you include dividends, this whole chart changes. But, a little bit. And it looks very, very watchable. Very watchable. It's at a resistance here. This purple line, again, is the 100 SMA, 100 simple moving average on a monthly chart. 100 monthly. And we're battling the 200 simple as we speak with a nice little upper shadow. Got some pressure here, got good volume. Earnings is over already. Let's put this one on the list for Wednesday and see if we can catch a nice move on it. That one's going to be nice, and I'm pumped. Diana says, can you look at AT&T? Please. Earnings are this Wednesday before market open. All right, I'll put on the list for tomorrow. I'll get all the stock requests in just a few moments, team. I know every single one of you have a lot of them, and I will get to most of them in just a few moments. Scott's Miracle-Gro. This is a stock, ladies and gentlemen, that I am buying. I do feel it's undervalued. I did pick up some shares and a put sale recently. I know earnings is around the corner, and I like this company. I like the fact that it's a dividend payer, and I like the fact that it's been around since I was born, essentially, 1992. Now, this is the largest pullback that Scott's Miracle-Gro has ever had in its entire history. And I don't think fertilizer or lawn care is just going away. I think this is a massive overreaction to something. I can't really find out what it is. I've tried to do some research on it. Haven't really been able to find much. So long story short, this is a dividend paying stock that is down 76%. So granted, I would be playing this one, yes, for a little bit of a longer term. This isn't like a short term, like, I mean, it could be. I mean, if I had bought, 3,000 shares at 57 and sold them now, I'd be up $6 per share. That'd be really cool. So, I mean, it could be. It is a pretty volatile little stock, but anyway, I like this one. Craig says, now I'm going to have to look at this. These guys have lost some big lawsuits. I wonder if something cleared up. Natasha says, what is this stock? Everything that you need on this is the top left-hand side. Ticker symbol SMG, Scott's Miracle-Gro. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting for sure. So I did get some shares. We talked about this one last week. I know some of you were here, some of you weren't. All right, Todd, take care, brother. Have a good one. So I did buy a little bit of some shares at 57. I also sold a put for February. So for those of you who are option selling fans, did the February put, and we'll see what happens on Scott's Miracle-Gro. Now, I'm probably going to kick myself for bringing this one up to a lot of newer traders, and there's a lot of newer traders here. I love you guys. Please be very careful with this, but I am going to be buying some, but I'm going to be risking appropriate levels of risk. I think that this could get a good squeeze. Genius Group Limited. It's just had crazy volume come in. And I bought some very, very luckily at $3 today. Now, if you're wondering why 3, you're not going to like the answer, but I'll give it to you. For those of you who are practicing stock trading, what type of gap is this right here? This is a retest gap. Yep, retest gap. So retest gaps, they generally, well, retest. So this particular gap there, my expectation was for it to pull back a little bit and do this, right? Maybe. So why did I buy it at 3? Who can tell me? It's not a fun answer. It's a really, really boring answer. It's going to take you a little bit probably to type this one out. I can appreciate. Sammy said it was a nice round number. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the extent of it, right? I'm looking at the stock. It's a garbage company. That I'm sure of. I'm quite positive they do absolutely nothing fantastic for the world. No clue what they do. So I said, you know what? This thing's probably going to go back to 0 in a week and a half. But what I'm going to do, a lot of people are trapped. Tons and tons and tons of volume are coming in. And I'm going to buy some at 3. Worst case scenario, and that's what I love about stocks. Worst case scenarios is it can go to 0 and I will lose 1 risk unit. But if it goes to 8, you know, it's good. Make 2 R's and some change. I can live with that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I did. So I think you all should probably consider doing something very similar, because it can only go to 0. And right now it's at, 4. And it has been like days ago at 11. And then previous to that, 35. So who the heck knows? Yeah. Most likely going to trade sideways for 3 or 4 days. And then maybe it squeezes, maybe has some type of news cycle, but I could see this hitting Wall Street bets or whoever, whatever, and could go up a little bit higher. Natasha says, if it pulls to $3 and we get it and then retraces up to 50%, question mark. It's up to you. I mean, my target is probably 10 or 9, give or take. Ray says, do you even need to put a stop? Nope, because my stop is 0. I highly, fully, 100% expect the stock to be worth absolutely nothing come April. But between now and then, maybe some shorts get squeezed out. Right? I mean, if it just math, if we buy it at 3 and it goes up to 9 and we sell it, this is our worst case scenario. This is our best case scenario. Good risk reward. Wayne says, so total crapshoot, basically. No, not a crapshoot. It's a good risk to a very good reward play, because I don't expect it to actually be at 0 a few weeks from now, which means we can take our stop from 0 to 1 to 2 and make the risk even smaller, and then the reward even bigger if something really cool happens later. So there you go. That's my thoughts on GNS. I do have a position on this one right now. Now, I did the exact same thing with Compass Realty, also at $3. I think you can also do this one as well. So Compass is an actual company. They do have realtors and they're everywhere. So that's pretty much it. They have a lot of real estate agents. And Chuck says, is that the absolute 0 I keep hearing about? Yes. Absolute 0. It's just risk, man. It's a really cool strategy that really no one else talks about, but it's just the way stocks work. That's what I love about them. The lowest they can go is 0. So if you know your risk and you take your risk and divide it by the price of the stock, which I bought this also at 3, and you're welcome to do the same. If it goes to 0, I know exactly how much money I'm going to lose. So the risk is very, very easy to continue. Like if you buy 100 shares, what's your absolute worst case scenario? Right? Buy 100 shares, worst case scenario, you lose $300. You can calculate that right now. Win says, do you always risk 1R? What do you think, Win? If you had to guess. If you had to take a stab in the dark. Win says yes, you are correct. All right, so Compass, buy some at 3, stop at 0, risk 1R, and then continue to watch it because look at this trend line that's getting broken out of. Oh, cool. So if this thing starts to pop, there's some signs. I really do like the volume that's coming in down here, right? Good volume, good volume, good volume. So there's some volume coming in. We could trade sideways and absolutely nothing happens. I'm fine with that. But if we do actually start creeping out of that 200 simple and kind of breaking out of that, this could be kind of fun. So Compass position, I also have. Pinterest. Now I know Pinterest, this is going to be a little bit of an advanced strategy, but type in a 4 if you would ever like to know how to have an unlosable trade. Now, for all the numerous people who are going to type in a 4, I do have a course on it. It's really, really better. And it's best for anyone who has a decent sum of capital where they can put into some positions. I would say decent, anything over 50 grand. 6 figures and up, beautiful. But the program's called Hedging with Options. I go really, really in depth. And it's a phenomenal, phenomenal program where you can learn how to get into unlosable trades. So I'm in one of those right now on Pinterest. Tomorrow or the next day, as we get a little bit closer to earnings, I'm going to sell around a $30-ish covered call for February. And I'm going to buy around a $25 put and sail into the sunset on Pinterest. Now, keep in mind, my cost basis on this is 22.5. So I already bought it down here and it's currently trading up here. So that's the key to the strategy is you got to have positive equity in a position. But I like this trade over earnings as well as a potential debit spread for my option fans. Get into a bull call debit spread, because if here's the 50 EMA on a weekly, there's a lot of pressure here. Let me just hide on my lines for just a second. Check this out. This is pressure, really good for about a year. It's been building. I'm not saying it's going to break higher. I'm just saying if we get a good gap, if some things start to move, it could be kind of cool, and I'm going to keep a close eye on it. So we'll see if it gaps. We'll see what it does. Watching Pinterest very closely. I am in some shares. I do have a position on this one, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. Nice little hammer candle today. So again, I'm gonna give it another few days as we see if we can go up into this 27, 28-ish price point before I start getting into another collar on Pinterest. Kellogg's, I would just get into a credit spread on Kellogg's. I see that there's definitely some slight bearishness, but you're coming into the 100 simple on a weekly, which is a good buying spot, and the 100 simple on a monthly. It's just not the best place to go short, in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't make money on it. Again, I don't short food companies, but a spread under 64, maybe for February or March, I think is probably the best way to play this one. And let that be that on Kellogg's. American Airlines. Now, this is interesting. American Airlines had a really big run up. For what reason, I'm not entirely sure, but they did. And they came into, this is the weekly chart. So the weekly chart on American Airlines did or has formed a potential triple bottom / double bottom. So you got this as a triple bottom. Is that a triple bottom? And then you have this as a potential double bottom. Neckline being around 15. The reason that's intriguing is because if you go to a monthly chart, it looks pretty comfortable. And American Airlines is down significantly. Earnings are in a few days. And so what I'm looking to do is I'm going to watch American Airlines very closely to see if we gap down into this 14-ish area, because we'll have a bunch of bear candles gapping down, and I'll be a net buyer around 14 if we can get down there. Don't know if we will or not, but I'm going to watch it pretty closely. And that's about it. Yeah, so earnings are right around the corner. This one's going to be a lot of fun. I am watching to see if we can get it down there, and going to keep a pretty close eye on American Airlines and to see how it gaps, what it does, kind of talk through it and come up with a game plan at that time. Next is Home Depot, ticker symbol HD. Home Depot. This is essentially moving just like the Dow Jones ETF. They are very, very closely in sync. And I think this is a pretty interesting candlestick pattern, chart pattern. This is technically an island reversal. Those are not bullish. And this is a bearish island reversal. You can have bullish ones as well. I think Home Depot is going to go higher because this needs to fill. It would be very not good for Home Depot to leave that unfilled. So for example, if we had a bear candle, something in the next 2 or 3 days, I mean, we would trade down into 290 pretty fast. So my guess is we trade back up and we get to 334 this week. And that's really about it. I mean, granted, it's still pretty flat, pretty sideways. There's nothing extremely exciting about Home Depot. If you are a slightly non-directional trader, there's going to be some money for bull put spreads, bear call spreads, iron condors. I don't really actively day trade this one. There's nothing I'm extremely excited about on this. So I'm just going to kind of let it do its thing and hang out from there. Okay. Next on the list, this was a big mover today. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. Now, today's close was very interesting because today's close closed above the 200 simple on a weekly for the first time, number one. Number two, we have a bullish gap and go and a bullish gap and go on a weekly time frame. Also, on a weekly chart, we have a high wave indecision candle both there and there. This looks to me a little bit more on the bullish side. Earnings on AMD are about a week away. I think we're going to get up into the 200 simple probably this week. So what I'm kind of waiting for or watching for is really a retest of this retest gap into the 200 simple. It looks good. And I'm kind of interested to see what it does and kind of play it from here. But put this on your list because it had really, really good movement today. Really good gap up. Here's the 3-minute chart. And a lot of traders played the bearish 10 EMA setup. First, huge bear candle, massive bear volume. And then you get a bear candle closing above the 10 right there. So ladies and gentlemen, would your setup be entry here, stop there, based on the 10 EMA play, yes or no? So how many people do we have here? Wow, we have 200 people here. Amazing. Amanda says, would that be for a day trade? The answer is yes, you're exactly right. Day trade. Rickman's learning all about the 10 EMA. Rickman, is it cool and easy and nice to see kind of all that come together? Awesome. I love it. Good move, clean, nice, pretty. That's all I got on AMD. Buy the dip, looks strong. Nvidia is at 191. 191. Now here's the best part. Dan says, do you only have the 10 EMA on your charts, Jeremy? Well, that's a great question, Dan. So you've been watching me trade now for about 45 minutes. I think you've seen a few more than just the 10 EMA. You've probably seen a few different types of moving averages. So the answer is no. But also, thirdly, Dan, I actually personally, when I trade, don't do anything. I just do this. But that's not as clear for people to see. It's a little bit more subjective. And so I love just using candles. I don't do anything. Nothing on my screen at all. Price action. But moving averages do help newer traders a lot. So I don't think that they're wrong. I have a trader asking, can you please look at FUTU? Yep, I'll put on the list for tomorrow. All right, we're still cooking with oil, doing good. I like it. So Nvidia is about to hit a resistance. Remember, things feel best when they are the highest to buy. So right up in here is when most people are going to be buying Nvidia. I think this is a pretty solid spot to get into a nice little collar. The reason I say that is because this is the 100, 200 simple moving average. Now check out what a beautiful, beautiful trade this is. Buying it off the 2, selling it at the 1. How lovely is that? Imagine for a moment that you did that with 1,000 shares. That would be a $50,000 win. I mean, again, just imagine. You can dream. Dreaming's free. Doesn't cost anything. Dan says, what do you mean? I mean, mathematically, if you bought 1,000 shares at 135 and right now it's at 193, that is a $50,000 profit. A little bit more than $50,000. And it's as simple as buy off the 200 simple, sell at the 100 simple. That would have been the trade. So it doesn't have to be extremely difficult, right? It can be that simple. And also type in a 4 if you know what NVIDIA is, if you like NVIDIA, if you understand NVIDIA, if you know they pay a dividend, if you know the future of the company. I did this trade. That's why I'm bringing it up. This is a trade that I did place. And it was a simple one, right? Buy off the 200. I added some complication to it. Got into a cover call, got called away at 165 and then repurchased at 140. But buy low, sell high. And that's all this is. The key and the awareness was knowing that it's NVIDIA, knowing what it is, holding through and not panicking through this little move right there. Because when that move happened, I did insure myself with puts. So I did not use a stop loss and get stopped out, but I did have downside protection. I bought some puts and those puts lost. I spent money on insurance and lost on my insurance. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever paid for insurance on something that you didn't have to use that ended up appreciating in value? Probably all the time, right? I would assume. I would assume houses, health, life, all of it. All of it. So, cool deal. Anyway, my boy Andrew says he's looking to get into a bear call spread on NVIDIA. Right on, my man. Keep me posted. I think that's, I mean, makes sense. I get it. I understand. All right, so nice move on NVIDIA. Again, if you have some shares right now, it's a great time to get into a collar on it. Bitcoin, yes, we look at cryptos at real life trading. This is accidentally how I made a lot of my money in 2017. I was off of cryptos. I mean, I had made a bunch of money otherwise before, but that helped. It was pretty crazy. So Bitcoin, I think, is just slowly inching towards the 200 simple on a weekly. This is the red line that's going to act as a support resistance. Is at 24,000. Old resistance, which was old resistance, new support is here off of the 2017 bubble. Hyperbolic extension of price action that our boy Bitcoin survived. And we did have a pretty abnormally large pullback of about 77% on Bitcoin. So I think we're going to hit the 200 probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks max, and then have a little bit of a pullback, rest, chop around. Then we'll see. But there are some bullish signals on crypto, and I am setting up crypto trades, and I am buying the dip on those crypto trades. So just fun facts. I'll be showing one in just a second. Ethereum, ticker symbol ETH. Euro says, what's your long-term view on Bitcoin? It's been the same since 2014, my man. I think the absolute best way to trade both Bitcoin and Ethereum is buy it long-term, weekly, treat it like a savings account. Don't look at it. That's the best way to do it. So it's going to be very, very hard to beat, in my opinion. But I'm doing that with both Bitcoin and ETH, which is Ethereum. I've always enjoyed this one. I bought Ethereum. You guys ready for this? At all ones, 1111.11. Not because I'm smart, but I just thought it'd be funny. Got pretty close to the bottom on Ethereum. Here's the weekly chart, and this one is above the 200 simple on a weekly. That's a big deal. Huge deal. So just notice how well this did hold up for the most part. So if this thing pulls back into, let's just call it 1395, I would still be a buyer there. And Dan, you were talking about buying off the 200 and selling at the 100. I bet you can probably let your eyes guide you towards how that strategy could work with Ethereum also. I mean, there's the 200, there's the 100. You essentially double your money. Or, you know, play how you see it. Roblox, RBLX. I think this is a very interesting move on Roblox. I did buy some shares the other day on Roblox, just from a long-term perspective, nothing overly interesting, but I'll share with you guys that post. I think Roblox is bottoming out, and I believe the bottom is in fact, on Roblox. How do I... I'm gonna have to find it manually. All right, just give me a quick second. Show more ideas. Oh, there's no way it's this long. Everybody just didn't post it. Maybe it was just in my brain. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I just passed it. Okay, someone said I just passed it. Tesla Collar, Bullput, Visa, Q's, Square, Schwab, Robinhood, Wix, Baba, Square, Roblox. There we go. So again, this is where it did go lower than this exact price, obviously, but my plan was back in December, nothing huge, but a nice spot to accumulate a few more shares, buy low, so high, lowering the dollar cost average a tad. So I'm still doing that. I might buy another $3,000 worth next 2 or 3 days, but I don't think it's going to be a really bad investment. If we go look at a weekly chart, this is a bear candle, very nicely closing above the 10 EMA on a weekly chart, by the way. And I think this daily chart wave rotation is almost spot on. So here's your long-term averages. I'm gonna wait for a little bit of a pullback and a dip on Roblox into 36, and I'm probably just gonna kind of keep buying there. I think if you buy $3,000 worth of Roblox between $40 and $30 every month, you'll be quite pleased with the results over the course of a year. That's just my thoughts. Could be wrong. Wrong pretty frequently, but not on long-term stuff. All right, here's PayPal, PYPL. I did profit on PayPal. I got called away. I'm telling you all this for purposes of a lot of traders already in these trades with me right now. And I might go 3 or 4 minutes long today, but it won't be a lot. PayPal, I got called away on Friday. I had a 77.50 covered call that expired in the money. And so I got called away on my shares for a 10% return on PayPal. And I am going to reaccumulate those shares below 77.50. So I'm looking at getting in some more at 77. And then I'm going to probably sell another put on PayPal as well at like 72 and 70 over earnings, because I think PayPal is going to be here. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And I do absolutely believe that this is a long-term accumulation pattern. PayPal has a lot of data, a lot of finances, a lot of people's transactions, and it owns Venmo. A lot of reasons and rationale, I think, to be kind of longer term, more bullish than bearish on PayPal. And I did put some shares at 69, 70-ish, and turned around and sold those shares at 77.50. So it's a 10% return in a month. Not too bad. So to keep a close eye on it, but I am accumulating this one. I like this one. I enjoy it, and I'm long-term bullish. Same thing with Boston Beer Company, Sam Adams. I'm actually pretty blown away that Sam Adams is as low as it is. I know I've been talking about Sam Adams for about a year now, and it really hasn't done a lot since then. But I've been able to catch some good lows. This thing is in a channel. It's like a $100 channel. It's going from 320 to 400 pretty frequently. So here's the monthly 100s at 374. If you drink beer, if you drink craft beer, and you like Sam Adams, you owe yourself to buy some shares down here, even if it's take your beer money, buy some, hold it longer term. So that's kind of my thoughts on Boston Beer. All right, got 3 more to review, and then we're gonna look at the swing trades that we're in. This is another swing trade that we are in. I know a lot of you won't be able to get into this one, but I set this up on Friday in the afternoon swing trading room last week. Rivian Automotive, we had a 1 white soldier candle, and I set this trade to get in at 16.58. We did get filled today. We were definitely bottom fishing, but I feel like we just got a bite. You know, we threw you know, we got a nibble on our bait. Sammy bought some calls. Win is long. Very cool. So my target is $20.81. I don't know if we hit it, but keep a very, very close eye on Rivian team. I'm not saying this has to do anything crazy. I'm really not. It could just do this and this. That could be a $3 per share move. $3 times 1,000 is $3,000, and that's a mortgage payment for over half of the US. So something to consider, something to keep in mind. Ray says TD only does day trades on this. Do you buy it elsewhere? I bought it in Thinkorswim. I was unaware that they only allowed day trades. Didn't have any issue with it personally. You can't get this in the funded account. I know that. But yeah, I have no clue. Not sure. Speaking of another crypto, Polkadot, ticker symbol DOT. I had this set up to buy a retest into 639, stop loss at 543, target 778. This is a brand new swing trade. I did post this one earlier somewhere, and so I'll put this on all the appropriate places. But if you're interested in taking this one with me, beautiful. I will be setting this trade up. And new swing trade on a crypto. Last one we did officially was Ethereum, and we all won on that together. So I figured if you guys want to win twice, then let's try another one, shall we? So I'll post that in, and I'll put that in the worksheet and just a little bit for everyone who's here. I had this one requested during class. ManpowerGroup, ticker symbol MAN. Earnings is around the corner. It's at the 200 simple on a weekly, acting as a resistance. Monthly charts at the 100 simple on the monthly, acting as a resistance. Probably have to wait until earnings. I would get into most likely a bull call spread and a bear put spread, some type of straddle over earnings to see what it does. Because it's right at a resistance. If it gaps above resistance, it could fly. If it gaps down, which is most likely over earnings, then, maybe you win a little bit. And if that doesn't happen, best of luck. Krispy Kreme was requested during class as well. Ticker symbol DNUT. Buy low, sell high. The hot and fresh sign is on. And if I was getting into some shares of this one, I would probably try to buy it back at the most recent 10 EMA setup. We had a bear candle closing above the 10 here on the 9th of January. It retested that level numerous times at 1127. If you want to get in, that's where I would try to get in. But again, if you buy donuts, if you like donuts, if you eat donuts, take your donut money that you spend on a weekly or monthly basis, throw it into Krispy Kreme, and then sell it when it goes higher. What time does class start in the morning? Good question. 9 a.m. 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern all week, ladies and gentlemen. It's free. It's yours. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell your employees, your employers. Our mission is to enrich lives. What stocks can I look at for you tomorrow? CrowdStrike, got it. Boeing, got it. Coinbase, got it. Tesla, Roku. Tesla's gonna be fun. Netflix, Beyond Meat, Zim, QSSZ. Never even heard of that. Is that a ticker? SZ. CRPT got Barrick Gold on there. UEC, BITQ, Bitwise, AMD again, Shopify again, TRMD, and Delta Airlines. All right. Well, I'll see you all tomorrow. I will be here, same time, same place, 5 to 6 Eastern, 4 to 5 Central. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful and beneficial. I love you tons. And until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. Bye.